My name is Samantha D. Court. I serve as the chair of the Nanakuli Maili Neighborhood Board, number 36, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, March 19, 2024. We are meeting in person at the Nanakuli Public Library and virtually on WebEx. Rules of speaking, if anyone wishes to speak, I will ask that in-person attendees line up at the microphone that's my left, your right. Those joining us on WebEx, please raise your virtual hand. When recognized by the chair, state your name clearly for the minutes. Comments must be kept under 2 minutes. Officials' reports under 3 minutes and presenters under 10 minutes. Sergeant at Arms will be keeping time, so please end your comments when the timer goes off. I will also ask you to conclude your comments. I would like to remind everyone that this is a community forum, so we welcome all comments, concerns, questions, and even opinions. Be free to share your mana'o on our agenda items, and remember to treat others with respect and engage with the spirit of aloha. Before we get started, we're gonna go ahead and pule and open us up in prayer. So I will open it up to the board members who would like to open us up in prayer. Okay, I will open us up in prayer. Father, we thank you for this time, Lord. We just come to you acknowledging that we are a vessel, Father, to serve our community. I thank you, Lord, that this is a time that our community can give their input, their voices can be heard. I thank you that we have pleasant collaboration and that there is no hindrances, Father, for the work that needs to be done here. But we thank you for the unity of this board, the unity of our families, and the unity of this community that makes us strong, effective, and able to do the work that the community needs us to do. So we give you all the honor and all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Okay, so perfect, right on time. So we'll go ahead and call up Honolulu Fire Department, HFD, if you can go to the microphone and give your report.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Alyssis. I'm the firefighter 3 at Station 28, second watch. These are the statistics for the month of February 2024. As far as structure fires, we had zero brush fires and 11 nuisance fires. Nothing as far as cooking or activated alarms in the area. We had 104 medical emergencies and 1 motor vehicle collision with a pedestrian and 3 motor vehicle collisions with cars. We had 1 mountain rescue, 0 ocean rescues, and 0 hazmat incidents. This month's fire safety tip has to do with smoke alarm safeties. Smoke alarms saves lives and are an important part of a home fire escape plan. Properly installed and maintained smoke alarms give occupants early warning to get outside quickly. You should install smoke alarms inside each bedroom and outside the sleeping areas on every level of the home, including the basement. Keep smoke alarms away from the kitchen or the bathroom to reduce false alarms. Make sure to test all smoke alarms once a month. And all you got to do is press the test button to ensure the alarm is working. If the smoke alarm requires a 9-volt battery, please replace it once a year and replace your smoke alarm unit every 10 years or sooner if they do not respond properly. Are there any questions?
Okay, very good. Board members, any questions for HFD? Questions? No questions, board members from the public? Anyone online? No, no questions.
I have they are informational pamphlets having to do with being fire wise as far as the brush fire season coming up. So I brought a few, and it refers you to some websites and some phone numbers. So basically what you should do to keep your houses free and clear of brush and things like that, how to tidy up around your houses. So I'll leave some of the copies on the table.
Yes, yes, please leave it on the table. Thank you so much. We are entering into what's expected to be one of the hottest summers. So as much precautions as we can take, the better. Board Member Ayo?
I, to be in conjunction with the fire department, I left on top of that table, for those of you who are here in the audience, it's basically what he put down, a brochure. There's at least 4 sheets, separate sheets that you'd want to take regarding what he just said, fire-wise watch, and what you can do to prevent on your property, to make your property, not just the house, but the property surrounding the house, safer for your house not to burn, as well as your house. It's sitting on the table there. I just want to add that in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Corona.
Yes, please. I have a question. That very good point about clearing brush and such around your property. What would you recommend other than if you're trying to get, if there is a neighborhood or a resident that has an issue with a adjacent property owners that don't clear their lots that in the brush, do they contact HFD to do an assessment to say, HFD to say, yeah, you need to clean up your lot, and then that's your first notice, or how does that go about?
As far as I know, what we would do if someone was referred to us or a neighbor referred someone, we don't have any enforcement authority. So on our end, from our level, all we could do is pre-plan for that specific house or those neighbors' houses, knowing that they have thick brush or lots of junk cars or something like that. That's all that we can do on our end. I think they would have to call the city, kind of like having a vacant house, go through channels that way.
Okay, very good. No more questions? All right, HFD, thank you so much for being here with us. Yes, okay, very good. You guys have a good night. Be safe out there. Thank you very much. And I do see Sergeant Fumi is online for HPD. So Sergeant Fumi, if you want to go ahead and give your report, you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Aloha, everybody. Sergeant Moroka with HPD from Kapolei Police Station, community policing team out over here, and aloha to board chair members on Nanakuli community. I have the crime stats for the month of February 2024. So motor vehicle thefts, there was 24 in the district, 4 in the Nanakuli area. Burglaries, 23 in our district, 3 in our area. Thefts, 157 reported, 9 in our area. Vehicle break-ins, 49 total for the district, 9 in our area. Citations, total of 218 given for February. Total calls for service, 6,244 for the district, of which 1,052 from Nanakuli, Maili area. I just have one thing to announce. There is a Prince Kuhio Festival this Saturday, the 23rd, between 4 and 9 p.m. We just wanted to ask that there will be a lot of vehicles going in and out, looking for parking in the area. It's at Nanakuli Beach Park. And just be careful of pedestrians and parking. There will be parking volunteers, attendants helping with that. Just make sure you park in a legal parking spot, either in the park or across street in the neighborhoods, and be careful when you're crossing Farrington to get into the event. And we will be there monitoring as well. So that's all I have. Any questions or comments?
Okay, very good. Thank you, Sergeant Fumi. Board members, any questions? Questions, board members? Board member Tector? Go ahead.
Hi, where did he go? Anyways, the question I asked, I'm gonna ask is, the incident that occurred on Nanakuli Avenue where I live, whether it's on your report or not, the shooting, it was like maybe a block away from my house, but the safety, and I know it's ongoing, how, there were two parties that were involved, like 5 blocks down, First Road, then a block away from my house, which is past Pililao. The other one was Mono. Was that reported?
Is that the same one? It occurred at the shopping center. It was an argument, and then I think the shooting victim drove away and ended up. I think he or she went up to by Nanakuli High School and crashed. Is that the same one?
Yes.
Okay. I don't really have a lot of details on that. It is an ongoing investigation, so I can't really disclose too much information about it. But what was your question about that?
Was it reported and how? Because the people that called the police that was involved was the neighbor, well, actually up the road, my nephew, and that's too close to home. So we know there's neighborhood watch, which we're glad about, but I think more warning somehow. We don't know on our level. Is it drugs related, war, turf related? Other than that, how else are we going to keep our homes, neighborhoods more safe? I have a loved one that was somehow released, and not from prison, but one of your officers picked him up, and a brother of mine, but I am currently housing him in a sense where I don't think he's safe on the street anyways, without mentioning names. So unless I hear from you, I know I hear from the neighborhood. How else can you keep us more safe without me thinking I need to purchase a weapon to protect myself or my children and grandchildren?
So, unless we have information about, what's going on, then, we can't take any legal action. Yeah. So, if there's a ongoing case, then there's definitely a detective involved in doing the investigating. So, best thing to do is, let us know, let the detective know so he can further the investigation. Yeah, the best thing is for you to report whatever is going on so that we can follow through and you know take action to get everybody safe. Uh, if you want to know more about an individual case, then the detective would be the one to talk to you about that specific investigation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Board members, okay, we'll go to community. Go ahead, community.
Hello, Chair. John Napoli Travis, Y9NSW. Sergeant Fumi, I just wanted to reach out to you if you could look into something for us. Last night on my street, or adjacent to my street, Moikulu Street in Moilima, there was some type of operation while I was on patrol that last night. 4 unmarked vehicles, teams in tactical gear. I reached out to another division and they said it wasn't them, but if it's something that you can look into, because it was so close to my house as well. Plus at that time from the hours of 23:15 hours to 0:10 hours, there was a helicopter flying around overhead without navigational lights on. So if that's something you can look into for, and then I'll touch base with you later.
Yep, I can look into that. If you can just give me as much info as you have knowledge about that. Okay, I got the times. If you have any license plates or anything like that.
Unfortunately, I didn't get close enough to the plates, but there were team of tactical personnel out there, but I couldn't see any markings, whether it was sheriffs or HPD. I spoke to another division in the department, and he confirmed it wasn't their team last night either.
Yeah, I can check with Narco and our plainclothes unit, see if they have any knowledge about that or if they're involved. And yeah, I can get back to you on that.
Sorry, it wasn't narcotics though.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if CRU had something going on as well. But thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Can check.
Thank you. Go ahead, next. Yep. State your name for the minutes, please.
Hello, Danny Wyatt. I'm the coordinator of the Waianae-Moku campus. And I believe everybody's gotten the this little thing on Hawaii perspectives here. I'd like to refer to page 14 if you have a quick check. And at the bottom of page 14, it talks about the affordability of college and university degree. And it's, people have said it's gotten worse. I'd like to point out we've got the Waianae-Moku campus here. Students who are Pell eligible get about $7,000 per year. Costs them about $1,600 a year for tuition. So I would think that people who have this belief haven't really looked into it very, very carefully, because college is very affordable, and Hawaii is actually.
Sorry, really quick. I don't mean to stop you, but
Yes.
are you, do you have a question for HPD or is it community concern?
Community concern.
Okay, okay, 1 second. Let me just get through HPD really quick. Hold that thought. I don't think that there's any questions, but any questions online for HPD? None, okay, none in the room. Okay, go ahead, come back up. I apologize.
Danny Wyatt, Waianae-Moku again.
Yeah, so we're officially in community concerns now, community concerns.
Yeah, this kind of information is very, very prevalent at the college, especially in Hawaii, is unaffordable, and the community college system is anything but unaffordable. 60% of Native Hawaiian students attending college at the Waianae-Moku campus have access to Pell Grant or other forms of financial aid. So, yeah, unaffordability should not be an issue. Okay, another thing, something else they came up with, the Waianae, the Leeward Community College is opening up the Waihawa Product Development Center, and that'll be opening up in the coming months. So pay attention to more official announcements than I can give. Since it's not my campus, I don't deal with it at all. And then something else that we started at the Waianae-Moku campus is everybody's familiar with the early college classes and that are taking place at Nanakuli High School and Waianae High School. In the summertime, what we do is we have the students come to the Waianae-Moku campus, and we have both classes both schools taking classes at the campus there, which expands the ability of Waianae, or of especially Nanakuli, because of their smaller population, to offer a wider variety of classes. So we have Nanakuli and Waianae High School class students taking early college classes in the summer. And in terms of availability, so school ends before June and it starts after July. So that's when we put our classes in. There's an 8-week session there that we have our classes. So if you know anybody who wants to take early college classes, I encourage.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, next up, community concerns. State your name for the minutes, please.
Elizabeth Dixon, good evening, Chair and board members and community. I have one very, very concerning thing that just happened last Wednesday. HECO came and turned off part of the power on my street to work on 2 poles, which haven't been worked on in forever. When they did that, they turned off the power to the traffic light, and there was nobody out there monitoring. We have a bus stop across the street on the ocean side. And from my house, I could hear that it stopped at least twice, and the cars were zooming through there. And I had flashbacks to when I was a kid. We didn't have a traffic signal at that time. And I've seen accidents at that time. I've seen one of my friends actually get hit by a car trying to cross that street. So I think the next time that HECO is going to turn off the traffic signal, can they at least have an HPD officer out there, please? Because even people coming out of 7-Eleven, they had to go Waianae bound. They couldn't even turn town bound. And I thank God that I didn't have to go anywhere that day, because I wouldn't have left. And I couldn't even go around the block. They didn't even notify the post office that they were going to block part of my street, to where my mail lady actually had to change her route. So it was kind of a not so good day for what they had done. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else, community concerns? Anyone online? If not, we're going to move on to presentations. Oh, okay. Go ahead. If you can, right.
People problems. I tiptoe because I don't want to do the thing. Hello, everybody. My name is Naomi Kukak. I wasn't planning on speaking this evening, but I just wanted to give a quick update. I'm here on behalf of Olympia Tree Enterprises. We are a small company that is working on doing a waste diversion and recycling project that'll take place over in James Campbell Industrial Park. As an additional part of that project, one of the additional products that we're making out of that process, we are looking into making locally produced fertilizer out of some of the other forms of waste that are currently going unutilized in Hawaii today. And as a result of that project, we actually brought some produce from one of our crop trials that we performed with College of Tropical Agriculture. So I did leave that produce up at the front there. Those are some cucumbers. The reason why I am here this evening, though, is to let you all know in the public that we are getting ready to do our draft environmental assessment. And so we wanted to provide the link to the public so that way whoever is interested can go ahead and access not just the document itself, but we have an entire data room that you can go ahead and look at, which will be updated so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening with that environmental assessment. And then we're also going to be providing an email that you guys can go ahead and provide questions and comments to on that. So I'm going to go ahead and hop back over to my computer, and I will go ahead and provide those links in the chat. And if anybody would like to contact me, I will also go ahead and provide my email. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Naomi. I will get in touch with you and link you up with one of our committees so we can have more dialogue about it. But thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Community concern. Go ahead.
Hi, Mapua Detector. I do have a concern with some of the residents in Nanakuli, and good point that she brought up with the HECO not letting us know. There was 2 occasions, but one of them, it was like 4 hours. And you know, the freezer and refrigerator, when it shuts down, it'll ruin your food. And we depend on that. The backup was ice, you know, the cooler, and that's hard work. But again, HECO is not communicating with us and not okay. And then again, the street lights. So we saw the traffic all the way to 5th Road, excuse me. Another thing was for our community, and that wasn't specifically for the officer, Umi. It's the, you know, the golf carts. An accident in the front of my yard. We know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time and how often. And they were injured really bad. Refused help, but police was called and first responders. The concern was we don't know if they lived or not. We have to watch. I see them packing babies. So please tell your loved ones, that's not a vehicle for regular transportation. It's for events. If you're going to events, that's something that need to be tagged and registered with the Department of Motor Vehicles. So please, you know, be cautious and safe, okay?
Okay, thank you. Any other community concerns? If not, we're going to move on to presentations. So with us this evening, we have Mark Holland. Did I pronounce that correctly? Holland? Okay. From Well Environmental Services, and he is going to be presenting on the Passman property at 87591 Farrington Highway. He has been meeting with our housing committee and just going through all of the details with that. So I'll let you go ahead with your presentation if we're ready.
Thank you, Chair and board members, and thank you, David, for holding the housing committee before. One thing to bring out, David correctly pointed out, that there's a difference between DPP demolition permits and DPP building permits and SMA land use permits. And we had requested in the SMA for erosion and sediment and dust movement controls be put up. So David, they are putting up the fence because I feel even after the demolition, the DPP didn't require the screening. It still could dry out and blow dust. So we've asked them to put it up. So this is an environmental disclosure document, which used to be called a environmental assessment before DPP changed the name. In support of the written statement that SMA major applications require. It's for Farrington Highway project here in Waianae. Previously, Lloyd at the neighborhood board sent us to the Waianae board, so we've already made this presentation there. Incorrectly, they told us that this was in the Waianae district. So we are presenting here Nanakuli where it belongs. Next slide, please. As you can see, this entire thing's been written according to the regulations under Chapter 343 and under 205 shoreline setback rules. The proposed action originally was going to be renovation of the property, but because of the delay over time and the Passman's international tradespeople who are not around, they basically come here in the winter. The property was severely vandalized to the point where windows, walls, everything was destroyed. So it's kind of changed from renovation to demolition and total replacement. The property's been moved as market as possible outside the 55-foot shoreline waiver setback, as close to the Farrington as possible. With David's subcommittee for housing, we've asked that the Passons recognize that parking be allowed in the front of the property, that there's no blockage of curbing or anything. So anyone who wants to use the shoreline access points can still park in front of the property. And that we made sure the gates to the point where they face inward and outward to the Farrington. If we can keep on going. It doesn't apply to any of the major barriers to SMA barriers. So we're not worrying too much about the fact that we're not in any of the criteria that would prevent this from going on the Waikiki district, for example. It's a project that is allowed. It's R5 zoning. If we can keep on going. So because the cost of the project is over 500,000, it becomes an SMA major. So part of the SMA process is to have the hearings with the neighborhood boards. It's already been mailed out to 24 agencies, the fire department, the police department, land and natural resources, OCCL have all commented on the property. The fire department comes back with the requirement for the circle being able to come within 75 feet of the property for fire protection. The police department asks that neighbors be notified and that traffic controls be put in place. So those are the type of comments we got back from agency consultation, which is required. So after this hearing, it will go into the DPP ordinance 23-4, which is a little bit shorter process. And then it will eventually go to the city council, both the zoning committee and the full council for affirmation of DPP approval. If we can keep on going. These are just the statistics for the property, the TMK number, the address, the project action, which now is demolition rather than replacement. The carport still kind of exists pretty good, but it'll be converted to a garage. And this is construction within the special management area And as I said, it's a flood zone X. So the entire project's been designed so that it's meeting all floodplain standards and also has the setbacks for shoreline setbacks. Keep on going. More. So these again are just the statistics if we keep on going. So essentially, Bill Benjamin is the architect for the project. We had explained to him about there's a difference between an SMA major land use permit and a DPP building permit. And so things like erosion control, stormwater mitigation, floodplain is paramount in land use permits on an SMA. And DPP building department does not take some of that stuff as seriously as they should. Being familiar with the Nanakuli area, we know that you either have to worry about fires from the mountains or floods from the ocean. You're trapped. My wife lived in Nanakuli for many years. My daughter went to Nanakuli Elementary School, which is now a private facility. But this is something that we've advised departments to make sure that everything's put in place to make sure that they adhere to flood protection, to shoreline setbacks, so forth and so on. We've even designed a fence to meet the requirement of DPP land use for 50% open work area. So the fence is not like a solid type fence. It allows passage of wind or any breezes through, and it meets the requirements of DPP for open work fences. You can keep on going. So we can just skip through this section. This is the property information. As you can see, it's that outline in blue just below the shell. Currently, DPP advised that they could get their demolition permit, and they went ahead and demolished the building already. We've asked that the screening be put up, because as I said, if now it's demolished and it's vacant land, there's a chance for dust movement to the ocean, and we want to make sure that no dust goes to the ocean. So that's being put in, even though the demolition permit from DPP didn't require it. I require it under an SMA permit application. We can go down. This is the proposed building layout. We're staying outside the 55-foot. It's essentially the same footprint of what was there. Originally, like I said, it was going to be replaced. Now it's basically new construction on top of what used to be the footprint of the property before it was vandalized. And we're staying as much marker as we can to make sure that the shoreline is protected. Keep on going. This is the erosion rate and loss. As you can see, it's red, which means it's going to have a shoreline loss. Essentially, 70 years from now, there's a potential for a 50 or 60-foot shoreline loss. So it's one of the other reasons why this is being moved as far marker as possible. I do not necessarily agree with Chip Fletcher from UH. We did the West Maui 50 reefs, and we found over 2/3 of the shoreline erosion rates to be wrong. Meanwhile, for SMA permits, it's required that we provide that information. I don't think UH realizes the beaches move in and out. They only think about them moving in. But it's something that still has to be addressed, and it's one of the reasons why it's being positioned the way it is. Go on. Again, this is the action location map. Obviously, the aerial photograph still shows a building there, which no longer exists now. It was very heavily vandalized. There was over 17 police reports filed for the vandalization of the property. And it got to the point where it was unsalvable. Keep on going. It's a plat map for the property. Somehow the neighborhood commission office thought this was in the Waianae district. It's actually in your district. Keep on going. It's the sea level rise maps for the property.
So I'm going to ask you to summarize.
Okay,
since
if we
it's
can just
60
summarize,
minutes.
as you can see, your board's been provided with the environmental disclosure document, which is a 500 or 600 page document with all the technical information. And hopefully you can review it and take a look at it and take it from there. And I'll answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you so much. We'll go to questions from the board. Board members, any questions? Questions? Board member Tech, do you want to, Board member Corona first? Okay, Board member Corona?
Hey, Mark. Hey,
Hey,
thanks for coming tonight. Just for clarity, for this process, you're not the developer, you're just the environmental consultant, right? So it'd been nice to have the architect here or the developer here. That way, they're more involved with the construction aspect, the heavy equipment usage, et cetera, when it goes down the line. So it'd been good to have them here. I remember during the housing committee discussion was that it was going to be slab on grade construction, but the slab was going to remain intact. It looks like the slab is gone. It's just hard to see from the street view. I don't like to go up there and stare at the property, but it looks like when I look by, I could see where the structure used to be, and it's dirt. And I wasn't sure if they took the slab up or not.
From what I understand from Bill Benjamin, they didn't take the slab totally up. They took corners out to check on support. So I think the slab is there, but I think they're changing to make sure they have the correct support.
Yeah, 'cause
But I can double check with Bill Benjamin.
I appreciate it, because I just know that would change how they're going to be grading the property then. If they go change the slab to something, if they took it out or they're adding to it, it's going to change how you're going to be grading it. So that's just another aspect that we weren't tracking.
Okay.
And then just for my aspect of it is your SMA process is informational for the board. Whether the board takes a position or not, it's a requirement of the DPP that you do meet with the neighborhood board, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so essentially we make the presentation, the board can take action, not take action, just recommend, but we have to make the presentation.
Correct. And then finally, the screening, and thank you for directing the contractor to put that up. Now, is that screen on the ocean side only, or is that also going to be put up to protect the two homes next to the properties? Because I know when they're doing, I've seen it done plenty of times when they get out there with a little water hose and they start trying to squirt, and that doesn't do anything for the dust. So I know exactly. They didn't have a water truck there when they were demoing, so they were just trying to use a hose, and that doesn't do anything for dust control.
Yeah.
So are they going to be putting it up? I would highly suggest putting up screens, baiting the two properties next to them, and then on the ocean side you were talking about. That just makes things better going down the road. Good community, stewardship there.
Yeah. So right now I've asked them to protect the ocean first. And then as they start working through the process to bring it down the sidelines and the frontage. I just think it's more important to make sure no dust goes to the ocean. So I want that up immediately. As you were CC'd on the emails, I was pretty firm about it. So.
Okay, very good. Board member Tector?
Hi, you stated it's the demolition process. And when the construction actually begin, the company that's going to be doing that, are there local contractors or mainland outfits?
No, they're local contractors from the Waianae. At least the demo crew was. As far as I understand, it's also the same contractor is going to be doing the building. We've asked them to understand that what DPP building department says is not the same thing as what a SMA land use permit says. And so following the erosion sediment control plan is important, not just if DPP demolition permit says, oh, you don't have to do that, which was what they were told.
All right, thank you.
So it's something we've reached back to DPP Building Department and said, do you understand it's an SMA permit application and they need to follow proper erosion and sediment control?
Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Board Member Ayo?
This might be more of a personal question, but in the demo part of your reconstruction of the brand new residence, how much did that demo cost? And if you did demo, was there any asbestos, and where does that demolition trash or garbage go to? That's my question. That's number one question. Second question, how much is the estimate for this total project when you finally turn key and walk in your house? Estimate only. You don't have to give me the right price.
Yeah, they, in the SMA app document, you can see the estimated construction is $700,000-800,000. Demolition was something DPP advised that they could do without an SMA permit. I don't necessarily agree with it, but they did it. And so it went to the PVT landfill, all the demolition material. But that's as much as I know about it.
Thank you.
May I
Okay,
add-
very good. Board Member Corona?
And then Paul, in their assessment, I did read in there about the asbestos. And in the report, it had stated that there wasn't any asbestos material
Right.
that was scraped or at the property itself. And so the way I understood it, we asked this question during the housing committee about this, and that we were understood that there was no asbestos material as briefed by the briefing, and that therefore nothing asbestos was going into PPT. That's what we were expressing.
So there is a hazmat report in the environmental disclosure document.
Okay, very good. Board, any other questions? If not, I'll go to community. Any questions? Any questions online? Seeing none, okay. Are we looking to make a motion tonight?
Yeah, I don't, that's the question that I don't know. Since it's advisory only, does the board still required to make a motion to support or not support in this situation? Or do we just say thank you very much and move on? But the housing committee did make a motion to support the project and pass it up to the full board for review and
Okay, very good. No other questions. We don't need to take a motion. I do want to thank you very much for the time spent in our housing committee, and I do want to thank the chair of the housing committee, Chair Corona, also board member Kea and board member Myers for taking the time to vet these projects out, to ask the questions and kind of get into the weeds of everything. So thank you, and thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. We've very much enjoyed working with David and his committee. We'll continue to work with him.
Okay, very good. Moving on, board members, I had put on the pile of your papers a resolution that I had drafted up last week. There is an update with regards to the resolution that I did draft. So I'll go through this really quickly, but basically it's to open the Waianae Police Station for processing. It's something that the county has been working on for a while now, but there were some software difficulties and they needed to cut through a lot of the technology part through it. So in my discussion with HPD, basically Waianae Police Station is not ready to be fully manned and opened and active and running operationally. However, there is an opportunity for them to open up at least for processing, which is fingerprinting. They can book them there, they can hold them there, and then they can take them to the Kapolei station afterwards. So there has been a recent update since I had drafted this and put this on the agenda. So basically, it was stated at the mayor's state of the city that the Waianae Police Station is open for processing. They do have the fingerprinting machine. I did confirm with HPD that they are currently processing arrestees there and then taking them to the Kapolei station when they're done. The reason for this is because it provides more police presence in our district. They don't have to drive them over to Kapolei and then come back and patrol the streets. So this would give more reason for the police to continue to patrol the community. However, there is an area, and I'll go through the resolution, but there is an area in there that if the fingerprinting machine maybe fails, maybe needs to be fixed, or if it's non-operational anymore, there is a part of the resolution that does say we would like to urge the police officers to process the arrestees manually, which is using actual paper. So I would still like to move forward in presenting the resolution. I'll go ahead and read it quickly and you can follow through. But basically it says, and I'll start here from the top, resolution urging the Honolulu Chief of Police Arthur J. Logan to open the Waianae Police Station for processing on or before April 30th, 2024. Whereas the Waianae Police Station located at 85939 Farrington Highway, Waianae, Hawaii 96792, built in 2016, described as a 25,172 square foot, two-story building with 14 holding cells located in District 8, sits unfinished and vacant. Whereas District 8 includes Eva Beach, Westlock, Barbers Point, Kapolei, Makakilo, Campbell Industrial Park, Honakaihale, Ko'olina, Nanakuli, Ma'ili, Waianae, Makaha, Makua, and Kaena. And whereas on November 16, 2023, at the Police Commission meeting, Honolulu Police Department Deputy Chief Keith Horikawa stated that homicides have increased 80%, and weapons have increased 42% in District 8. Whereas according to the 2023 Honolulu Police Department annual report, there were 9 murders, 93 robberies, 253 aggravated assaults, 356 motor vehicle thefts, 273 burglaries, 1,722 larceny and theft offenses reported in 2023 in District 8, and whereas of the crimes reported, District 8 had the highest numbers of murders and aggravated assaults on Oahu in 2023. And whereas community has been facing a substantial uptick in crime rates, instilling fear and insecurity among residents, therefore demanding immediate action to address these urgent public safety concerns. And whereas the absence of a functioning police station in Waianae has hindered law enforcement efforts to address these issues effectively and compromised the ability of officers to respond promptly to emergencies and incidents in the area. And whereas the urgent need for increased police presence and resources in Waianae is critical to restoring public trust, enhancing community safety, and deterring criminal activities that have plagued our neighborhoods. Now there be it resolved that the Nanakuli Neighborhood Board number 36 urgently calls upon the Honolulu Police Chief Arthur J. Logan to open the Waianae Police Station to process arrestees using the live scan fingerprint machine on or before April 30th, 2024. Be it further resolved, if the live scan machine is not functional on, before, or after April 30th, 2024, we implore the Honolulu Chief of Police to instruct officers to manually process arrestees. This is essential to combating the rising tide of violent crimes, thefts, and related offenses that threaten the safety and well-being of our community. And be it finally resolved that those copies of the resolution be transmitted to the Chief of Police, the Mayor of Honolulu County, the Managing Director, the Prosecuting Attorney, and the President of the Board of Directors of the State of Hawaii Organization of Police Officers, the Honolulu Police Commission, and the chairs of the Eva Beach, Kapolei, Makakilo, Nanakuli, Ma'ili, and Waianae Coast Neighborhood Boards. That's the end of the resolution. I'll open it up to the board for questions or comments. Board Member Ayo, and then Board Member Corona.
Go first, Dave.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sure. So just a couple comments. First is just a question on what on your thoughts on it, where would be the on the first now therefore be it resolved, where it talks about the Police Chief Arthur J. Logan to open the Waianae Police Station to process arrestees using the live scan fingerprint machine on or before would it be okay to put, is it too late to put in there maybe, just a thought in accordance with the mayor's State of the City address, as detailed in the mayor's State of the City address on whatever date, and then on or before, that way, at least it's on record that the mayor has said that. And then how do you manually process arrestees? And if there's a process to already manually process arrestees, why can't they do that now? Why are they not doing it now?
Yeah,
That's
so
the thought I was asking.
yeah, so they can process manually, what I was being told. So that's why I was bringing the resolution to the board that if the live scan machine is non-operational at the time that we discuss the resolution, then we would implore them to process manually by hand, paper.
Yeah, I just wondering why they can't do it. But okay, thank you.
Exactly.
That's all I had. I just wanted to see if that, it was just a question if that made sense to put that statement in there, if it's amenable to it. If not, it's okay. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm writing it down now, Board Member Ayo.
Everything looked good, other than the last, be it further resolved that the live scan machine is not functional. They were doing it manually anyway. So being a former police officer and knowing what has to be done when you process somebody, fingerprinting takes a long time. It does. It takes at least half an hour to fingerprint one person. At least half an hour now. So, but if you got the AFIS going, you can do that, I think, in maybe 5-10 minutes. The live scan, that's what they're talking about. So anyway, the police officer or the police station or the unit itself, the Honolulu Police Department, they know how to do that job 100% really good. They're only going to get trained now in the live scan machine. So it's going to speed up everything like real quick so that the process of arresting someone, taking them over to the police station, and then coming back on duty, on patrol, going to be quicker, faster, speedy. But I don't think we need that last one on the bottom because they already know what to do if that thing doesn't work. Because I've been through that, know how to use the live scan myself. But if it wasn't working, you just got to resort to what you did before, paper. That's it.
Okay, when you were referring to the last part, sir. Okay, got it. Got it. Board Member Tector?
Yeah, just a comment. In clarifying, how do we get our precinct? Just like how we have a district. Our district, because we have approximately 60,000 to 75,000 people recorded, there's some unrecorded, that should validate enough that we have the right. I mean, we have banks, we have schools, and for us to bat for our police station, we do respect them highly because somehow that's not noted here anyways. I love everything that was said, and our people need to know why we're not being considered in the process of, we may not understand if they become a precinct by itself. I want to know how Kapolei became one and not Waianae, yet whether we have documented murders, there's undocumented murders in town too. So the balance, the clarity, the news doesn't match. So somehow we can honor them in this. And we deserve that opening no matter what. We have enough people to say we do.
Okay, thank you very much. Board members? Oh,
Yeah,
Board
for-
Member Corona?
Yeah, for board member IO, when we talked about the processing, the manually, they know what to do. Would they still manually process at the Waianae station, or would they still to manually process, or would they would it be that they would leave and go down and use the scanning machine in Kapolei and then come back?
Yeah, so they are currently using the live scan fingerprinting machine
Copley.
no, in Waianae.
In Waianae.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep.
And if that were to fail, would they manually be doing it, knowing already that that's what they need to do from the Waianae station? Or would they go down and use another scan machine, let's say in Kapolei?
So
I can
the
answer that.
resolution says that if the live scan machine does not work, that we are imploring the officers to manually process the arrestees at Waianae Police Station.
Can,
Was that?
I
not-
just want to add into that. We don't need to tell the police officers how to do their job, number one, because they know how to do them. And it would be only an operational thing, depending how many people got arrested. So if you had a cockfight and you had to arrest 50 people, or 50 people got to get processed. So the fastest way to process them, go couple it. They're not going to do them at the Waianae station, because that will take forever. That's what I mean by operational.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you only had one person, easy, just do it
Easy.
right here.
Right, the manual part.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay. So I just, do you need to say manually process them at the Waianae station?
Yes.
That way.
could add that, yeah.
Clear, that way we can say manually process, that could mean they go someplace else. That way it keeps them in the district if the situation permits to. That's just my only.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Board Member Tector.
Yeah, one last comment. I think in our precinct processing them, for whatever reason, the money stays in our community. When they get processed out, I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, the money goes to them. So they did their rest, they follow through. So
I'm okay. I
please,
agree with what you said.
again, open that station.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Board Member Corona.
might be, I was just maybe a little I didn't know that was trying to be strucken out of the resolution. So I'm okay with what you wanted to do with that.
Oh.
What Board Member Io was suggesting. I just wanted clarification, understanding the
Yeah. So,
wording, that's all. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're going to strike it, then yeah.
well, so we'll make a vote on that. But I personally want manually processed in there. That's the point. If there is a huge raid and we have tons of, paddy wagons being filled up, then yeah, we have to take it to Kapolei. But the idea is to keep police presence here. So, okay. Board members, no questions. Community, any questions? Any online? Thank you. Councilmember Tipola.
So I do have a letter for you guys in regards to a couple other updates, but definitely agree with everything said. So I think what Board Member Io is bringing up about not giving the police the specific instructions. So the reason why is because adults now have to be processed through live scan for other things because it's connected to FBI information, background check information. So at Waianae, they only manually process juveniles, so ink and paper. And that's the reason why they sent the machine over there, which was just last week, consequently, the day before the state of the city address. Interesting. So yeah, so it showed up at the Waianae station. It's there now. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. It arrived. But I think there's more, right? I'll give you guys an update later on the second floor, but the station is open, but I think we do have other pieces that we really have to push in order for us to have it fully utilized. So to the other question regarding why it's not a main station and it's a substation, back in the day, it was only Waianae and Pearl City. That was the closest two police stations. Then when they built Kapolei, that's when they stopped using this one and then had Kapolei service the Eva Waipahu area, and they took that away from Pearl City, and then Pearl City expanded into Mililani. So eventually they did want to open this one up, but we're short 400 officers right now, which the $25,000 bonus for officers should help with that. But that's really what we got to push for is we won't get a D9 or our own station until we get more officers, which it may come with these bonuses, we shall see. We did talk about today that we actually need more retention bonuses, meaning for guys to want to stay. So not just come, but not retire right when their time is up, right? So thank you guys for doing this resolution. Any little bit helps. So I just wanted to share that I'll have a letter with more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Tipola. Any other comments? No? Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and entertain a motion with the resolution urging the Honolulu Chief of Police Arthur J. Logan to open the Waianae Police Station for processing on or before April 30th, 2024, with the following changes on the first. Therefore, now therefore be it resolved on, well, I'll just read it, it's in entirety. Now therefore be it resolved that the Nanakuli Maili Neighborhood Board number 36 urgently calls upon the Honolulu Chief of Police Arthur J. Logan to open the Waianae Police Station to process arrestees using the live scan fingerprinting in accordance with the mayor's state of the city on March 14th, 2024. Okay. Moving on, it was proposed by board member Ayo to strike out this portion in its entirety. I propose to keep it just so that we have the manual processing as an option. I think it would be good to just have it there as an option. Of course, HPD is going to decide what they are going to do. They're going to decide what is best for them. So this is not letter of the law, but we are imploring them that if it is possible to keep police presence, to keep police cars in Waianae, process 1, maybe 2, then we would like to encourage that. Let's see. And then, oh, okay. Sorry, it was also mentioned by board member Corona that we would extend the manual processing arrestees to say specifically manually process arrestees at the Waianae Police Station. Is that correct? Board member Corona? Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, so I think the part of this resolution in question is whether we're striking out the last part of the resolution or we're keeping it in with the amendments. Right? Okay, very good. So how do we take a vote on this?
I make a motion that we accept this resolution with the changes as our chair have read, not to omit anything on the last paragraph of the first page, but to do a correction that was stated by Corona.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay. We'll just do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Board members, Hano, I see that you are online. Would you like to share with us your vote? Support?
Aye. Yes, yes. We both, yes.
Ed, would you mind verbally voting?
Aye. Aye.
Perfect, very good, okay. All righty, very good. Thank you, board. We'll go ahead and make those changes and send it over to Jeffrey to be distributed. Yeah, very good. Awesome. Okay, so we are moving on to officials' monthly reports. Governor Josh Green, do we have Gary with? Oh, no, we've got Kelson with us. Hi, Kelson. Thank you very much for Governor's report. You can go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, board members, and committee members. I believe a written report was emailed to Chair already. I have nothing else new to report. Open for any questions, and I'll take back to the Governor's office.
Okay, board members, any questions for Governor's representative? No, community, any questions? Seeing none online. Okay, very good. Thank you, Kelson, for being with us. We will see you next month. Moving on to Mayor's representative, Erwin Kawata. Please go to the microphone, Erwin.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and everyone in the community. Erwin Kawata. I have submitted my mayor's rep report. There are copies available on the table. There is one item I just wanted to highlight, which is the mayor's town hall meetings is restarting this year. For the Leeward Coast area, that meeting will be held on May 2nd at 7 PM at the Nanai Kapono Elementary School. With that, I have no other items to present or new items, so I can take any questions that you might have.
Okay, very good. Board members, any questions for Mayor's Rep? Board Member Corona, go ahead.
Hey, Erwin, thank you.
Thank you.
DTS did reach out to me, but they didn't, they reached out to me and said that they won't come out to a transportation committee meeting, that they prefer that we would send them a list of questions so they can answer, but I don't feel that appropriate, only because I have to give them my list through you, which means I'm going to wait a month and I might not get all the results, whereas if I have them face to face, it's better. So that's why I wanted to invite them with George, who's coming out tomorrow night to talk to the community and talk to us about transportation issues on the state level. Wanted them both to be there at the same time. So just today, I got an email from, I forget, Linda, I think her name, I can't remember her name. I just saw it before I came here about like almost saying the same thing. What kind of issues do I want to discuss? Well, anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there that I think that from a city organization, when the board asks for some support, it just makes it, gives a community a chance to, directly talk to the department versus through the neighborhood board and waiting for a report,
Yeah, thank you.
A little frustrated on that.
I just wanted to mention that I was at another meeting just yesterday, and the deputy director of DTS was there, John Nauchi. So I asked him point blank. I said, "Hey, John, can you contact board member Corona?" And he says, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" I said, "They're concerned about speeding. They're concerned about traffic. There's lots of concerns. So please send a representative." So I asked him to do that, and I'd be happy to send another reminder again.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'll do a follow-up. And if I need to, I'll
All right.
reach out to you separately.
All right.
And then I just wanted to real quick comment. You were taking notes about Elizabeth's comment regarding the HECO work and the
Yes,
traffic
took
lights
notes.
affecting, because I'm not sure if that was pole replacement on Farrington where it's a state issue where they need to be aware, or if they were on a side street and that side street was what was affecting the traffic signal.
Yeah, I
I'm
can
not
get
sure.
that
So-
information.
Yeah, but, okay. So that, I wasn't sure, like I said, I wasn't sure if it was if they were working on Farrington or they're working. Yeah, okay, so that was a city street or a private street,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. That
I
was
can
just-
note it. I'll
okay.
note it in my report.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, very good. Board members, any other questions for Mayor's Rep, community, seeing none online? Erwin, I do want to echo board member Corona's request about having DTS out here. So if there's anything that we can do to continue to encourage them to actively engage with us, we have a lot of transportation issues, and that's an ongoing thing. And I think
Okay.
our chair of transportation has been more than patient with encouraging them to come out with us.
But
And we can have a larger, a more timely, lengthy discussion. We
Sure.
can't do that here at the full board. So
Sure.
please encourage him. And if there's anything that we can do on our part, please let us know.
What I'll do is this, I'll put it in my report, but I'll also send him, I'm a deputy manager, so he and I are peers, so I can communicate with the deputy director. So I'll send him an email, okay? I'll send him an email, and I'll copy you on that email and ask him to please contact you to come up, send a representative and come and meet. And I'll list down what those issues are, speeding, traffic mitigation, everything, right? And then I'll do that for you.
Please do. Thank you. And please copy myself and Jeffrey on that if you can.
Sure.
Great.
Sure, I'll do that.
Very good. Okay, awesome. All right, we're moving on next to Board of Water Supply. Go ahead, Erwin. Take it away.
Thank you. Again, good evening, Board Chair and members and everyone in the community. I have submitted my report for Board of Water Supply. I don't have anything new beyond that. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
Okay, board members, any questions for Board of Water Supplies? Seeing none. Community, any questions? Any questions online? Okay, no questions for Board of Water Supply. Erwin,
you.
thank you again so much. We appreciate you coming in person. It
Thank
means a
you.
lot. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, very good. Moving on to Congresswoman Jill Tukuda. Do we have representative online? I don't see. Okay, very good. And then we'll move over to Councilmember Andrea Tupola. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think there's one folder for everybody. Okay, aloha board members. Thanks for being here tonight. So I'm just going to go over a few things in the folder that I passed out. So there is a monthly newsletter. You can go through that. So that very first letter is the one that I'm referring to. And this is regards to the second story improvement. So last year, 300,000 was released for it. And basically in the city budget, we have 1 year to expend down funds. And that's why we have to babysit it heavily because in June, it just lapses. So we did ask them where exactly we're at with all of this, because come June, we don't want to hear that 300,000 is now gone and nothing happened, right? So this is the word for word that they gave to me on where they're at with everything, which is hopeful because it's just for plan and design, right? So it wasn't for construction. So coming up in this upcoming budget, if they're done with the plan and design, the next thing would be to spend money for construction. And we already went through the live scan conversation. So depots to Ulehava, we're doing a beach cleanup April 27th. Specifically, this is a kind of follow up from the last one I did, but I do run the Restore, Reconnect, Revive program where we're specifically helping homeless in that beach park area to restore that beach park. So I'm talking about from depots all the way to Ulehava Canal. And I'm really trying to get DPR and DFM on board so that we can move to the next section, which is in front of Princess Kahanu, which we know is very, very bad. And we really need to start addressing other areas. And so I have partnered with DPR on this one so that they know for sure that, you know, they're on board. Not saying that they weren't, but I really need every department to understand my initiative so that we can move together. The next letter is actually to Director Toya. He is the DEM director. In our conversations about Department of Emergency Management, I brought up the question, how active is he in pursuing funding, not just a MOA, but funding to repair Kole Kole, of which he said he was not. So I encouraged him to be involved in it because an MOA is not going to improve the road. It's not going to repair it and it's not going to maintain it. We cannot continue, what was it? 2011 was the last repair we ever got in Kole Kole, thanks to Senator Inoue. From then till now, no major improvements or money has gone in. So we can't be complacent and think a MOA is going to save our lives somehow. It will not. So they said they're on it. I'm sure you guys read in the Civil Beat article that DOT is on it as well. So we really are following Ed's lead, Ed Sniffin's lead, but we also can play a part on the city side. We run emergency management and we should be actively asking for this money. The next one is a resolution for 2450. So I did put forward a resolution which will be voted on next Monday for a second reading, and that's to create a Department of Ocean Services. So ocean safety. So this would be separating them from emergency services and making the lifeguards their own public safety department. But as well in this resolution is suggesting that they have a commission. Commissions are really important because it helps for community voice to be in there. So if you can imagine, there are EMS doesn't have a commission and they kind of operate administratively, meaning if you need things, you go and ask the mayor's administration. A commission is where you have a hearing like this, you have commission members from the community, and we want watermen and waterwomen to help shape the future of Ocean Safety Department. The last letter is, again, a request that to DPP to support our bills. We are hoping that Bill 57 and 58 for game rooms will be maybe moved out of zoning because it's been stuck in there. Maybe we move it to another committee where it can keep moving. Our community is not the only one asking for these bills to pass. There was a shooting and a stabbing in Keomoku, and that was all out of a game room as well. So it's all of us are asking for something to happen, and these bills are not getting a hearing. So Councilmember Dos Santos and I are strategizing because we really want to see this moved, and you guys have already extended your support for this. I just wanted to update you. So yeah, I'm open for questions.
Great, board members, questions for council member? Go ahead, David.
I'm always
Board
gonna
Member
have
Corona.
questions. First of all, I want to say thank you for everything for the resolution 22-169 support. And I know that that's working its way now, so I appreciate that. I heard about a couple things. First, the community improvement program, SIP proposals for the budget. Are you looking for a timeline from the neighborhood board to provide a input to you for inclusion into or to be captured in the new budget? Is there a timeline you'd want those?
Yeah, so I brought it up before, but I'll bring it up again. Anything you guys want me to add into the budget, I can. So if there are specific things, two things that you work on that I'm actually putting in again is The drainage for Kula Aupuni, it's a long story. I won't share it all here. But that might be a placeholder because we're still trying to see if we can't dig out the holes and try to start the project again since it was filled. And then, of course, I don't think they need any funding for Halimalahia now that we know that there's going to be a letter that can do that. So if there are other things, I mean, I always put in money for Pa'akea, of which we put in 1 million, the state put in 3 million, but we're still waiting on the EA and the acquisition of the road. Anything else that you guys think of, there's still time to add it. We're basically on first reading for Monday. After first reading, I have like 2 turnaround times where I can add in amendments from your board. So please send it to me.
So we should have something to you by the April board at the latest.
So I think my next budget hearing is April, hold on, what is it? Yeah, so even though our first reading is on Monday, we have a separate meeting for the budget, and I believe that's on April 19th. So we have a couple weeks, but again, that'll be my second reading, right? So I'll have one more third reading. I only have 2 edits I can submit for this. So I have been putting in things that we talked about previously that I haven't seen done, but if there are new things, please let me know.
Okay. My final comment is, thank you for your stance with the salary commission. I saw that on the news today, and of course from before, and I see that they're trying to increase the council's salaries again and other organizations. And so, so you made a comment about the ocean safety, about putting it to commission. So is the community allowed to go to these commission meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
That was one of my big
Yeah.
beefs is like, this is a salary commission, just like a police commission. There's supposed to be heavy public testimony. They're talking about increasing salaries again for I don't know what reason. So the mayor did submit a letter yesterday saying he opposes it because we asked all the departments to cut their budget. We lost all of our SRLF. We lost all of our COVID funding. So like we're kind of at a deficit this year because we also had to put 89 million aside for hazard pay for everyone who worked during COVID. We do not have a plethora of funds where we can just up people's salaries again. And there has been years in the past where the salary commission recommended no raises. Is that one of these years this year? Maybe. You don't have to recommend it every year. So it was today at 1 o'clock. And for your information, the next one's April 23rd at 1 o'clock. I think everyone should testify.
Great. Thank you very much. Board Member Ayo and then Board Member Tector.
Well, I just want to follow up with what, I think it was 2 months ago when you called for the SRO
Yes.
symposium. I think it was a symposium or on-air thing, webinar. So I just want to follow up on that, has anybody else done any research on how Maui got it started on Maui and how the Big Island of Hawaii got it started on their island as a research thing? I don't know how they done it, so I put in my clause into it because I'm a retired policeman. And I believe in that program for the simple reason, you deter crime at its lowest level. And in our level here in Waianae, all of those shootings were with juveniles. If I correct me if I'm wrong, of the 5 shootings, 3 of those 5 were with juveniles having a gun. See? Juveniles now. So the SRO program that she was talking about when we had this symposium, I feel we need that on this island of Oahu. We have 22 high schools, public high schools. Each high school would have a policeman on the campus. Each high school. And I think if we're going to start it, we should start it on the west side, the best side. And it's not best side because it's got homicides and shootings and killing. No, the people here on this side, the west side, deserve SROs. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, so SRO is a school resource officer, and I think Chair was in the meeting and Representative Kilo was in the meeting. So we do have the documents. So there is an MOU between MPD and DOE, and that's how they started it. They gave us a copy of it, so we have it. We did work with the superintendent. I did talk to the assistant chief of police last week about pulling basically a 90-day hire. So the reason why I'm doing that is because we need to pilot it out, right? We can't get it at every school. We're going to have to pilot it out, of which I suggested that we start here in Nanakuli. The superintendent's in favor, the new principal's in favor. I have to see if HPD will pull a 90-day hire, which will basically be like a special duty pay, but not every day different people. It would be one person for the 90 days and we continue it until we see if the pilot works. So I'll keep you updated.
I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done so far. As far as your letter to Toya, Mr. Toya, in regards to Kolekole Pass, I believe with the emergency that we've been requesting for that opening, and I'm sure it's before 2015 as well too. The jargon in this with the military, in what is the exchange that we've received in regards to assisting them and accommodating, what do we get in return, and how, other than requesting some form of assistance from the military, does that come from your department to the military? Also requesting for funds directly from the federal? Because there's two, it's like two entities, even though he's the commander in chief of the military. So the funds you can request or find out the data, because even though it's not safe, and I'll find that out soon, I understand that like roads into Hana gets repaired on a constant, like Department of Transportation, which is state. So how are we being ignored? And I prefer safety over anything else. And please continue to pound the pavement on this in any way we can help. The jargon, write a letter, but
Well,
we need the funds.
I would love that. I mean, so 5 miles is on the Navy side. 1.5 of the 5 miles needs to be repaired. It's the S curve. 3 miles on Schofield side is pretty well maintained because they use it regularly. And you can hike up in that area as well. There's a hike up there. You have to request or have military access. But that funding, and that's why I wrote down former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, former Congressman Kai Kahele. I can't go ask for that funding because it's military land. So when I went to this last meeting they had at Schofield, which board member Myers was there, they were honestly singing a different tune because of what happened on Maui. They were like, how can we be more helpful? You know, how are we going to get the road? I was like, wow. And I'm happy, but we had never, ever talked about opening it. Every time I've been in since I was a representative, it's always been only emergency vehicles, only emergency, that's it. Now the new tune is any life or death, we will open it. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's go that way. But that way, by any life or death opening it, means we got to get money to repair it. So that, you know, that Civil Beat article was Ed going to basically DC and talking to them, because that repair is probably going to be costly, but it doesn't mean we can't ask them to do it, right? So it's not our road, but at DEM at City and County, can we ask them to? Yeah, we can. We can say, find a feasibility study and see how much it costs. We could ask our Congresswoman Joe Tokuda to jump on board. I think she's been up there, but she could also advocate to get military, or in the, they have like a armed forces pack every year that they fund all military expenses. We could ask to be in that, to have congressional funding. I've asked every congressperson because they would need to put it in the budget. It's called a military appropriations budget. We would love to see any type of form of funding, of which, you know, Senator Inouye, he had a lot of swing. He swung and he got us a bridge built up there. No one could do that. So I would love to see you guys write a letter of support, or ask, you know, the congresswoman every time they come on, hey, have you guys put it in? Because they have a budget just like we have a budget. They could go and advocate and put that line item in for us. That wouldn't just help like Nanakuli, that'd help everybody on the whole west side. So yes, please, let's jump on that, because now that they're singing a different tune, let's take that. Let's run with that. If they want to help us, great, awesome. Get the money, fix the road.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Board members, any other questions? Community, any questions? Oh, did you have another question? Oh, okay. Did you have a question? No, okay.
Sorry, I forgot he works for the
Yeah, no.
Navy. So yes.
I just wanted to know if I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. I want to make sure we're supporting the council member. I just want to make sure we're supporting our community with community improvement projects. If the council member states that April 19th was this.
I'll send you the email of when my hearing's coming up. So you guys, yeah, I think all the neighborhood boards that I represent, I've asked them, hey, give me a list. And I think with the list, we can determine if we just add it, you know, for Waianae, main thing we talked about adding was like the broken electrical at Pili La'au that never turned, you know, the lights are always broken there. I would say one of those things, right? Something that's like been perpetually bothering this neighborhood. Like those are the kind of things I can put in operational. CIP, like a guard tower or whatever, that's separate and CIP lasts for 6 years. But anything operationally you need fixed in the city, we can do it on an annual basis.
So that's my question. Should I make a motion or should we make, if I make a motion, would it fall under new business or would it fall under board business? And this is how I want to word the motion is I make a motion that the Nanakuli Neighborhood Board members canvass their communities to provide input and come ready on April 16th under board business to propose or provide their listing of improvement projects so that for the council member to have for her inclusion discretionary. So I don't know how to word it. I'm not good at motions.
Yep, that works for me.
If that's
Yep.
okay, I don't know if it'd be best under board business. I think board business would be best instead of new business. It'd be best under board business. But at least we have a listing of stuff, put it together, give it to you, shoot it off to the council member, and then we. Okay. Yeah. So the
Sorry,
motion
go
is
ahead.
that the board provide provide a listing of CIP projects under board business at the next board meeting for the council members review and inclusion until the fiscal year 25 budget.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
It stepped away, but wait. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Aye. Sorry. He'll be right back. There, I'll wait. Just say aye or yes or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Next neighborhood board, April 16, 2024. Board members, please come with your suggestions after you've spoken with the community on suggestions for the fiscal year 2025 CIP budgets. Oh, and to be included under board business. Okay, very good. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Chair.
much.
Thank you, Board-
Council Member. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. We have Senator Miley Shimabukuro. I see her online. Thank you,
Yes.
Senator. If you can unmute.
Yes, yeah, good evening. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I hopefully got my newsletter for this month. Some things I want to add outside of the newsletter is following up on the great discussion that Councilmember Tupola just had about that civil beat article. So, you know, that prompted a lot of different actions, and one of which was I was approached by the Kuputa Council along with Master Sergeant Justin Kahanui to schedule a meeting to talk about this very thing. So we're looking at tentatively this Friday at 12:30, and we've invited DEM, DTS, DOT, Navy, Army, all West Side elected officials. Those are the main ones to talk about two things. And of course, one, like we're just saying, the possibility of Koli Koli being opened. And then the second one is Pa'akea. And kind of what I zeroed in on, you know, if there's one thing that can start as a baby step, is if the Navy can improve the section of Lula Naval Road between Farrington Highway and Pa'akea, that would go a huge way, because, you know, the last I talked to Ed Sniffen is that he's looking at probably about 2 years it's going to take, you know, given the $4 million the legislature gave him, and then what more it's going to take to upgrade the roads to county standards for both the Naval Road and Pa'akea. And so I really appealed to Master Sergeant Kahanui that that's one thing the military really could do. They could start with that. If they could do the upgrade on the Naval Road, that would then really speed things up for DOT's process. And like everyone said, it would benefit everyone to have a second access and a parallel route that would go along Pa'akea. So that meeting hopefully will happen this Friday. We're waiting on a few more RSVPs. We're going to find, I give everyone until tomorrow to respond. And if not, we'll find another time and we'll just meet and I'll report back what's going to happen, what happened at that meeting at our next meeting, neighborhood board. The second thing I wanted to talk about is that, right before the deadline for introducing resolutions, there was a whole email train that was going on about actually a community by Lahi Lahi that was very frustrated about how sweeps don't work. And Corporal Pagan was on that email, and he suggested, in light of the fact that the Supreme Court, is about to hear a very important case, and it's a case to decide, how to proceed, because right now the way it works under the Supreme Court's, under the Ninth Circuit ruling, is that unless the police can offer someone a place to stay, then it's illegal to arrest them, to criminalize homelessness. And that's what's tied all the law enforcement's hands across the nation. And it's been just a nightmare. And so that's why the Department of Justice has filed appeals in this case that's coming up. It's actually the state of Oregon that started it. And, but it's expected that the courts might remand it to the lower court. So it's still going to take a long time. And so what Corporal Pagan just suggested is that, that we look at a policy that once you sweep an area, HPD will cite all those individuals. And if any of those return to that specific area, then at that point, they can be, number one, they could be arrested or given a criminal citation. And number two, HPD would no longer be required to store their belongings like they do now. And so it's not necessarily criminal. It's like just if they come back to that specific area. And Corporal Pagan was saying that, that would then make it, so it's not so comfortable for them. They can just, it's so frustrating, right? You see the sweep happen. And then right after everybody leaves, 2 hours later, all the same people come back with their tents. And he's saying, if you can at least say that you can't come back to that area, and then eventually, right, they'll get the message that all these areas are going to be off limits, and then they have to seek help. And so that resolution is SCR 211 and SR 187. And I'm going to really urge the Human Services and Housing Committee to schedule that, and Public Safety, Military Affairs, because I think it's a really, it's a great solution coming from law enforcement and can really help to finally maybe make the homeless sweeps effective, by basically making a trespass, kind of giving them more tools in their toolbox. And so that's really what I wanted to share. Of course, there's other things in my newsletter. These are all measures that are moving and in various places. If you have questions about any of them, I'd be glad to answer those questions or other questions that anybody might have. But thank you so much.
Okay, very good, board members. Any questions for Senator Board Member Corona? Okay, and then Board Member Tector.
Yes, Senator. Have you provided a position on SB 3335?
Yeah, SB 335. That's a tough one. I'm very torn about it because what I'm hearing from the medical marijuana community is that it may actually make it harder for them to get the medicine that they need. Right now, dispensaries are expensive enough. That's why many of them turn to co-ops rather than go to the dispensaries. And they're concerned that if this bill was to pass, it's actually going to make it put into the hands of corporations. It's going to make it even more difficult to get medical marijuana if you actually need it. And so, yeah, I have a lot of concerns about the bill. I voted with reservations when it was in the Senate, and I'm going to see what happens, what they might do to it in the House. So at this point, I'm yes, but with reservations, and we'll see how it goes as it goes along. I'm curious to hear your folks' feedback.
Okay, very good, Board Member Tector.
Hi, Senator.
Aloha.
I would like to go When is your next Hawaiian Affairs meeting that I could attend? I know it's scheduled, however, has it ever been in a town hall setting? I know it's been a while since the last time we were at the beach.
Oh,
Um,
well, you mean when's the next town hall meeting?
Either your Hawaiian Affairs meeting with legislation, so
Okay.
I could attend,
Yeah, Hawaiian
and
Affairs,
or
at this point, I don't have anything. It's always Tuesday, Thursday afternoons at 1 o'clock. We just had a hearing today. We'll likely have a hearing next week, Tuesday, depending on what referrals I get to my committee, possibly. But yeah, I don't have any scheduled at the moment. But we'll see if any.
yeah, the reason why I'm asking is I'm chairing the Hawaiian Affairs Committee here on for the Nanakuli Maili Board, and I don't want to reiterate, things that you've already either conquered or we could follow suit with it. So that's why I'm asking. So I appreciate if I could get an actual time and, then I will jump on it.
Wonderful, wonderful, good. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, once I'll let you know if we have another hearing coming up, and and once the session wraps up too, definitely update you folks on what passed out of the Hawaiian Affairs Committee and what still is left that you could help with. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, very good. Board members, any other questions for Senator? Community, any questions? Seeing none online. Thank you very much, Senator Shimabukuro.
Thank you.
For your thorough report. Have a great night. Okay, and we are moving on to Representative Darius Keela. Representative Keela, thank you so much for providing hard copies of your bills and resolutions, and take it away.
Hello, Chair and board members. I will start off just to continue the Kole discussion. And the Civil Beat article for my position is that as land lease renewals are now on the table, that it is something of imperative priority that the folks who occupy our lands take into serious consideration as we look at amending those land lease renewals. And I also just want to reiterate the construction needs to be done, but full expansion to allow for two-way traffic. Because really, if we rebuild the road and as the conditions persist now, I've said it publicly that we might create another emergency without full access to the road. So please know that's where I'm at and pushing for, is that the military take responsibility, but also allow for further expansion. There's something maybe you folks might not be aware of, is that on federal property, they're pretty much exempt from all county standards. So in some capacity, construction is much more expeditious. So they could potentially move quicker than we could as a state and county. And then I want to kind of just give a grim overview of where we're at the state. You folks are seeing headlines talking about Maui. The House passed out the supplemental budget last week. When Governor sent down his supplemental budget, we were down almost $150 million. So we've had to move around some monies in that way. One of the more controversial projects that we've suggested in the House was to amend the funding on the stadium project to remove those funds to transfer to the university to supplement the shortfall. The House has taken that position. We'll see how the Senate responds. But I want to be very transparent that if we don't find a way to get under control the spending, the reckless spending on Maui, we will go bankrupt in 2025. So there are some really big conversations to have, but in that same grim, we still need to get funded on our side. So in the House budget, all the projects for our side were kept as such and even restored the DOE lapse projects. So I'm really happy to share that. I've expressed that to my colleagues. And I ask that you folks continue to express that support to Senator Shimabukuro, because I need the Senate to agree to what we turned over to the Senate from the House. I'm really happy to give you folks this one, but real quick, it was Auntie Doreen's birthday last month. So if you folks ever email her, just tell her happy birthday. She does a lot for our office and our community. She's not from here, but she loves serving our side. So I always give you folks newsletters, but at this point in the session, I really wanted to get maybe legislatively in touch with you folks. So there's 3 parts to this folder. is the bills and resolutions I introduced this session. Bills I think you folks should follow, whether they're actually still alive or deferred. And then on the back end, there are bills that I voted no on. And I think you folks should be aware of how I'm operating as your legislator. I've always been transparent with you folks, and I will continue to stay that way. But I hope this can serve as a guiding document for you folks to kind of know where I stand on certain issues. And I think it's from the expression you folks have shared, like the cesspool upgrade program that will move the target dates almost 10 years sooner. I've been in opposition to that only because I look to our DHHL properties. I've constantly shared that I think the federal government should subsidize cesspool conversion on land that lessees do not own. And to move it up sooner only benefits. I love the environment, do not get me wrong, but I have to look out for your folks' best interests. If it's already happening, why do we have to rush? And then there are even some other bills that I think you folks should follow as well when it comes to transit accommodations and cost of living measures. And then lastly, as we head into now crossover, 4 of my bills have made it. So it was about 21% of the bills I introduced crossover technically. And then the resos, most of them are being heard either this week or next. But it is a very interesting session. And to Board Member Corona's position, I have voted no to marijuana and will continue to vote no. All county police departments testified in opposition. And if you folks watch the floor debate, I referenced my no vote in that capacity. And as a lawmaker that represents a district that is impacted by severity of drugs, I don't think it'd be good for me to support a measure like that. And I want to dispel the rumors of economic vitality because every economist has proven that this makes little to no tax revenue. And I will cite Governor Lingo today, and she said, if we care about revenue, we should legalize gambling, not marijuana. So that's my report, and if anybody has questions.
Very good. Thank you, Representative Keela. Board members, any questions? Board Member Augustin?
Thank you so much for this report, and it really helps to have this information on hand for us to process, because the online system is great and all, but really having what you're doing in front of us, we can thoroughly read through. So you said you still have 4 bills that went into
Yes.
crossover. Can you say what bills?
Yeah,
those are?
so let me pull up my phone, sorry. So of the 4 bills, HB 1577 HD1 relating to motor vehicle towing fees, the title does not match the bill. The intent of this measure is to amend the statute of definition to include language that clarifies and explains the criteria for an overturned vehicle. What's happening right now is that if your car is overturned, technically by the way the law is stated, your insurance company or a tow truck driver can either get the vehicle and not get reimbursed or choose actually to not recover the vehicle. And off-road is so broad that they're literally interpreting it as off-road. Off-road is literally a side bank, opposite direction of intended travel. So that's what we're aiming to do. So that way, when folks are honestly in dangerous situations, they're not having to worry about if their cars can get recovered or not. According to AAA, tow truck drivers are killed every 6 days, a yearly total of 60 deaths. They put themselves in negligent and often short change of their recovery. The expanded definition allows for equitable reimbursement. HB 157082 relating to transportation, the intent of this measure is to allow expeditious transfer of goods and products at ports across Hawaii to ultimately allow quicker delivery and response times and hopefully reduce costs that are passed off to consumers. This measure will also help expedite rebuilding processes on the island of Maui regarding projects in Lahaina and related areas. HB 1580 HD1 relating to animal cruelty, the intent of this measure is to increase every category of offense of every Hawaii revised statute related to animal cruelty. In the interim, as you folks saw in our district across the state, heinous acts of violence against our animals. This measure was crafted with the Humane Society and a local nonprofit. And then lastly, HB 1581 HD1. The intent of this measure was in direct response to the Maui wildfires. Thousands of acres are scorched and vegetation is now absent. Because we do not have native plants on board, we have to use non-invasives. And what's going to happen is that we need to stabilize the soil, but planting non-invasives doesn't help our environment. So preparing for the next emergency and reforestation, we should have a native seed bank on deck. So those are the 4 bills.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Board members, any other questions? We'll open it up for community. Seeing none in the room. Any questions online? Okay, seeing none. Representative Keela, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
great
Chair.
work. We appreciate you.
To board member Hano, I have the book for them as well. Should I leave it? Could I give it to you, or do you want me guys? Can you email me? I can drop it off to the house, maybe another.
No, you know what? You can leave it with me.
Okay,
And then,
can I
yep,
give it to you?
and then I, at the latest, will have it for her next month.
Okay.
But I might see her sooner.
Thank you, board member.
Yeah,
Thank
whenever,
you.
whenever.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
You can just drop it off whenever.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Whenever
Can
it's
you
convenient.
message
Thank
me
you,
your guys'
Darius.
address then? Board member, Chair, can you ask them to message me?
Yeah, do you want a Representative Keela to drop it off, or do you want me to drop it off?
Oh, it don't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Message him your address.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on. Army Representative Lieutenant Colonel Jason Cappies. Thank you so much. There you are.
Madam Chair, board members, good evening. So 4 announcements from U.S. Army Garrison for this month. The first one is the next job fair that'll occur on April 18th at the Honolulu Airport Hotel, beginning at 8:30. Some of the benefits for employment include retirement, access to recreation facilities, discounted childcare, and commissary and PX privileges. The next item is our training advisory. So there will be some artillery and mortar training from the 19th through the 23rd. That will be during both day and night. And there's also going to be some aviation rappelling and extraction during the day only on the 22nd. Third item, we were talking about burns earlier and how we're getting into the fire season. So we have some prescribed burns that will be happening on the training complex on Schofield. Those are going to take place from the 15th through the 20th of April. So all state, federal, and Army requirements are being met through coordination with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and approval was received through the Hawaii State Department of Clean Air branch for that burn. Finally, we have night training. So while we do believe in training with aloha and being mindful of our neighbors, there are many reasons why we have to do night training and how it occurs through a whole single period of darkness from 10 p.m. all the way up till 5 a.m. the next day. So night training is critical as we prepare our forces to fight and win our nation's conflicts, especially if we want to continue to own the night. So I know that gets asked frequently why we need to train at night. Trust me, we don't like training at night. It's hard. We don't like doing it, but it's kind of critical for what we want to do in any conflicts we go forward. So that's all I have, pending any questions from the community or yourselves.
Very good. Thank you very much. Board members, any questions for Army? None. Community, any questions for Army? Any online? Seeing none. Lieutenant Colonel, thank you again so much for joining us in person. Thank you very much for the great work that you're doing here in our community.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on to Navy representative. I do see that we have Danny online. So we'll have you, Danny, go first, and then Victor go next. Go ahead.
Aloha Chair, aloha community. I'll read some of the highlights from the report that was sent earlier. So this is some of the top things that were done by the Joint Task Force for Red Hill this month. On between the 5th and 8th of March, the EPA and Department of Health conducted regulatory inspections in that area. On March 7th, Joint Task Force Red Hill briefed at the Fuel Tank Advisory Committee meeting. Their next steps are to complete their turnover with the Navy Closure Task Force, and they're going to have their official transfer of authority on the 28th of March. And also on 28th of March, the next drinking water long-term monitoring information booth, they'll have that for the base residents at the Hickam Exchange. And with that, I'll turn it over to Uncle Vic with the rest of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Danny. Victor Flint, Naval Facilities. Man, I'm hearing all kinds of good stuff tonight. Anyway, segue a little bit off of what Andrea was saying. And I see here on the Firewise pamphlet about gaining greater access to federal grant money. I'm glad we're ahead of the game on that. $15 million that we got for watershed protection programs with the REPI funds, and we're doing even more stuff. And with the group that we're going to be bringing out on Thursday, you heard about that device that can detect fires from great distances and cover great areas that Forestry Division and the state's working on. The people that are going on that Huaka'i tomorrow, keep that in mind because I got just this spot. Anywho, back to my thing. Huaka'i on Thursday, bringing plenty good leeward reps from Nanakuli, Waianae, Ma'o, State Rep Kila, and also the Waianae Moku Kupuna Council. So it's going to be a full house, a great time to go Mauka, and we'll see our group Thursday. I'll be speaking to everybody tomorrow on the phone, all the people that are going. And the last thing is Kolikoli Pass at this time remains clear and passable. That's what NAFAC Hawaii is doing. As far as major road repairs and stuff like that, we're not doing, but we're maintaining the road to where it can be used in a declared emergency. And again, the Huaka'i team will be seeing that with their own eye tomorrow. With that being said, are there any questions for Brother Danny or myself?
Board members, any questions for Navy, either Danny or Victor? No questions from the board. Community, any questions? None in the room, any online? Board members, Hano, none. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, Victor. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for the updates. Yes, all right. Very good. Moving on to board business, approval of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, regular minutes. All those in support say aye.
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 Oh, thank you. For the board members that are here, approval of 20, and just so you know, in advance, the minutes are posted online so that you can review them. How long would you say, Jeffrey, the minutes get posted online? 2 weeks?
So depending if the board does approve them, we post the approved minutes online. So whatever you guys approve, if it's not approved, then it won't get posted until the when they do get approved.
Okay, very good. All right, we're going to try this again. Approval of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, regular meeting minutes. All those in support say aye.
Aye.
All those thank you. All those opposed say no. Any abstentions? Okay. Board minutes for Tuesday, February 20th is approved. Okay. And so Jeffrey is going to do a roll call. Moving on to February 2024 board member attendance at community meetings, public hearings. So go ahead.
Alrighty. So I'm just gonna go down the list that I have. Again, this is for February 2024. Member IO.
Waianae Kupuna Council meeting at Pokai Bay. And the other one was Nanakuli Security Watch at Pastor Allen's Church on First Avenue, Pua Avenue. That was it.
Member Augustin.
The Park and Recreation Committee meeting on February 28th, the Nanakuli High and Intermediate Parent Teacher Student Association meeting, the Nanakuli High School Song Fest, and that's it for February.
Member Tector.
I'm sorry, Nanakuli, PTSA, and then Parks and Rec. Let's see. There was one more. That's okay, disregard.
Chair to court.
Waianae Neighborhood Board. Waianae Neighborhood Board meeting. CS Hui meeting at Nanakuli High School. That's it.
Board Member Kale?
Housing Committee meeting on February 21st.
Member Corona?
Housing Zoning Committee, February 21st.
Ed Hano?
Committee meeting.
Parks and Recs Committee. That's all.
And Naomi Hano?
Same Parks and Recs Committee meeting in February.
Okay, very good. Board members, thank you. We are moving on to committee reports. First up, we have Transportation Chair David Corona. 3 minutes for committee reports. Go ahead.
Yes, as you're aware, we've already discussed the Passman project, which moved forward. The housing project by Lualua Green Homes Phase 2 behind Sack and Save. We felt as the committee that they weren't ready to move forward through the committee, so we recommended that they go back to discuss internally, come up with a better plan, come back to the committee when they're ready at a future date. Since then, the developer reached out to me and he was wanting to set up an open house type thing.
Sorry, just for the record, you're sharing both about transportation and housing committee reports.
Housing only, yeah, but
Oh.
are we on transportation or right now? What am I?
We're on transportation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Nothing for transportation.
No transport. Okay,
The
perfect. Go ahead.
transportation,
Housing
other
committee.
than transport, I'm sorry.
Housing and
Transport-
zoning, sorry.
Sorry, I'll just continue. Transportation, I'm sorry. I'm good. So transportation meeting is set for tomorrow. I encourage anybody who can attend, We will be have George from the State Department of Transportation to discuss current and future transportation projects on the coast and any comments or concerns that we can address back to him. So he'll be there tomorrow night, and I will have hopefully a WebEx running. We'll talk about it after. Okay, so that's for transportation. Moving on to housing zoning, just continuing on. Lulula Green Homes wasn't quite ready, so we passed a motion for them to come back to the committee when they're ready. Since then, the developer reached out to me. He wants to do a site visit. So I suggested that and I talked to NCO about this to make sure we have enough board participation in a site visit, that he opened it up to the public, open house day at the site where anybody from the public community can come out and be a part of it. In doing so, that means all the board members can attend without breaking any sunshine laws. So I'm waiting to hear back from him on that. And then finally, tomorrow night, zoning, housing zoning, tomorrow night as well. We'll be discussing a housing project, just as the Miley Bend starts on the right side of a 4-house project on the mountain there. So we'll be discussing that tomorrow night. And I've sent out the brief, I think, already to the committee members. Other than that, that's all I have to report.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Next up, Park and Rec Committee report. Board Member Tector.
Okay, we met February, and also we were in good standings for Sunshine Law for March. Yay me. Anyway, it's a challenge, becoming new member and understanding the process. So in our Parks and Recreation, I'm glad that I have a lot of support and help. We have good members. When the lights were out, we called Representative Keela, and he was on it. So as far as meeting, transferring my timetable from the second Wednesday to the last for Sunshine Law, and because of the lights when it went out. Also, progress with understanding Eva Beach, utilizing Parks and Rec. It's because the players are from Nanakuli, but the coach lives in Eva Beach. So he's actually an asset to our community in assisting our children. Also with kind of creating a timetable in creating a guidebook for the next board member to come after 2025. Also, just making sure that somehow safety is first, and that we're trying to also, the camp areas, make sure that the lighting is good, the parking is okay, because they just need clarification on that. And that's why our committee is willing and ready to get a survey and just support us any way they can, alongside with city and county. I'm yet to submit a letter to Augie T, which we're going to do in the upcoming months. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay. And we are moving on to education and public health and safety. Board Member Augustin?
Thank you, Chair. Education Committee meeting had been postponed, and due to medical emergency as well as facility use unavailable due to the lights out at the Kalaniana Ole Beach Park facility. So the next meeting for the Education and Public Health and Safety Committee meetings will be on next Tuesday, March 26th, and following that every last Tuesday of each month with approval. And Education Committee meeting will be from 6:30 to 7:30, to follow Public Health and Safety Committee meeting from 7:30 to 8:30 at the Kalaniana Ole Beach Park location. Mahalo.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, very good. We're moving on. Announcements. Any announcements? All right, so we have our next regular board meeting Tuesday, April 16th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Nanakuli Public Library and via WebEx platform. Just a reminder, board members, we are participating. We voted on it last month. We are participating in the Prince Kuhio Festival this Saturday. The 23rd. Yes, so more details will come via email, but we look forward to having us all there. I will be there. I know majority of us will be there. So I believe more instructions are to follow via email. But very good. Everyone in attendance, thank you so much. Those online, thank you very much for joining. We look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you, board members, and this meeting is adjourned.